Hey everyone, welcome back to Endless Money Pits. This is my 2000 BMW 328i, and today I'll be showing you how to replace the spark plugs. On this car, the spark plugs should be replaced every 50,000 miles, and today is the day. I've had issues in the past with misfires and hard starts when going more than 50,000 miles between changing spark plugs, so now I just replace them at regular intervals. You should make sure to perform this job on a cold engine, as aluminum is very soft and the last thing you want to do is damage or strip the threads. Here are the tools that I use for this job. Small flathead screwdriver, large flathead screwdriver, an electric screwdriver, not required, a short extension for the electric screwdriver, T30 Torx bit, quarter-inch drive adapter for the electric screwdriver, 10mm socket, short socket extension with quarter-inch drive, socket wrench with quarter-inch drive, socket wrench with half-inch drive, torque wrench with half-inch drive, long socket extension with half-inch drive, 5/8 or 16mm spark plug socket. I taped mine onto the extension, a flashlight, plastic bowl, magnetic bowl, and this handy Torx spec chart that I got from beamertools.com for $5 many years ago. First, we'll need to remove the cabin air intake for better access to the rear spark plugs. Start by unclipping the cover for the wires going across the front of the air filter housing. Pull the wires down and let them hang. Next, twist the three knobs of the cabin air filter counterclockwise 1/4 of a turn until they spring up. This will allow you to remove the cover. Pull out the cabin filter and set it aside. Now we'll need the T30 Torx bit to remove the 4 screws holding the cabin filter to the firewall. With the 4 screws removed, the filter housing should come off easily. Using the small flathead screwdriver, remove the bolt caps and place them in your plastic bowl. These break easily and often go missing, so check out the description for a link to cheap replacements. With the caps removed, we can remove the engine cover fasteners. The top cover uses two 10mm bolts, while the side cover uses 10mm nuts. The top engine cover should now come off easily. The oil filler cap will need to be removed before the side cover will come off. Replace the oil cap right away so nothing falls into the engine. With both engine covers off, it's a good idea to do a quick visual check of everything we can't usually see. I didn't find any problems under my engine covers, so we'll move on with the spark plugs now. As you can see, I have previously numbered my ignition coils from front of the engine to the rear to keep them in order while changing the spark plugs. To remove the ignition coils, use your large flathead screwdriver to pry up these metal clips. This will allow you to pull out the electrical connections. Then, unscrew the 2 bolts holding down each coil. The first bolt and the final bolt also hold down braided grounds that you'll need to reattach later. We do not need to remove this thin brown wire between the second and third ignition coils. With the coils removed, it's time to get the spark plugs out using your 5/8 or 16mm spark plug socket and a long extension. As you can see, these spark plugs look pretty normal for being run 50,000 miles. The threads on the spark plug from cylinder 4 look darker than the rest, but I'm not sure what this is from. My engine did overheat one time last summer, so I wonder if that could have anything to do with the coloration, but everything else about these spark plugs looks normal. I used the flashlight to look down into each cylinder for other signs of a problem, but found nothing that concerned me. Here are the new spark plugs I purchased. They're made by Bosch, which is an OEM supplier for BMW. These are Bosch's premium plugs. They have 4 prongs per plug, which I don't think really does anything special, but I believe they are what originally came on the car. We'll also be applying a small amount of anti-seize to each spark plug so there aren't any problems the next time I remove them. Try to get it down into the threads. Okay, time to install the new spark plugs. Take it slow and easy and make sure they go in straight. With all of the spark plugs screwed in just hand tight, grab your torque wrench, set it to 18.4 foot-pounds if you used anti-seize, or 22 foot-pounds if you didn't. Carefully tighten all the plugs until you reach the proper torque. Now place the ignition coils back into their original locations. They don't snap into place like a spark plug wire would, they just kind of sit there, but that's fine. Get all of the ignition coil bolts started by hand. Don't forget to bolt down the braided grounds on the first and final ignition coils, or your engine will not start. Tighten the bolts until they're snug. Pull up the metal clip and reattach the electrical connection on each coil, then push the clip down to lock the connector into place. As before, you'll need to remove the oil cap for the side cover. Don't forget to replace the cap. The top engine cover has two fingers that must slide under the air intake. Now we can reinstall the fasteners for each cover. Don't forget to pop the fastener caps back into place. With the engine work complete, it's time to reinstall the cabin air filter housing. Slide it into place, making sure it is seated properly and that the screw holes line up with the holes in the firewall. Reinstall the 4 screws for the housing until they're snug. Insert the cabin air filter. Slide the filter cover into place and secure it by pushing each of the 3 knobs down, then twisting clockwise 1/4 of a turn. Push the wires back into place. Reinstall the plastic cover, and we're done. That concludes this week's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this, and have a great day.